Oh, look at you, Josh, already on the recording.
Jamie, I feel relaxed. Jamie does so much of the lead work now for these meetings. I'm just
Oh, yay.
like he's like
Thanks,
being on
Jamie.
vacation here.
That's awesome.
Let's take out
I will give it another minute and start it as people are coming on.
Yeah, that's weird. What I have to do is I play it in a link tab, and that way you still have access to your screen. Or you can play it. Just a little bit like that. So we can still share the screen, but you can see. Morning, everybody. If you want to go ahead and start throwing your name and organization in the chat for us, that'd be awesome. Thank you all for joining.
All right, Josh, are you ready? Shall we go ahead and get started?
I believe so.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Heartland Continuum of Care General Membership Meeting for August 21st, 2025. I'll call the meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. You all should have received the minutes from the June meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? All right, I would like to make an addition. I believe I was there running the meeting, but I'm not listed as an attendee. So might I have a motion to approve as amended?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Jane. A second?
Second.
Thanks, Jared. All in favor, signify by aye or thumbs up.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. All right, we have a presentation this morning from Housing Action Illinois. Megan Yerger's joining us. Megan, are you all set and ready to go?
I'm set and ready to go. Yeah, if it's okay, I can just share the slides that I have if that works.
Okay, terrific.
Awesome. And then I'm here with my colleague Feluke Akani as well. So we'll be tag teaming the presentation. But let me share these real quick so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So my name is Megan Yerger. Quick introduction. I am relatively new to Housing Action Illinois. I'm really excited to be here, but I've gotten a chance to meet a few of you here. So good to see you all again. We just wanted to do a brief presentation about a state and federal legislative update as well, and just to let folks know kind of where we're at right now, what's going on, talk a little bit about Housing Action Illinois as well, and how you can get plugged in. So for folks who don't know, Housing Action Illinois is a nearly 40-year-old advocacy organization that we are a member-based organization bringing together folks throughout the state to expand and protect affordable housing and homelessness in Illinois. That is our mission and goal. We have a policy advocacy team, and that's me and Feluke and our policy director, Bob Palmer. We also have a capacity building team that is a pass-through for housing counseling services, and that actually expands outside of Illinois as well. And then we also place a lot of VISTA service for VISTA members for a service year. And so we have about, I think, 45 placements. And so people who are organizations that are members with us are able to, we are able to place a VISTA leader sometimes with their organization for a service year. So we have a lot of moving parts at Housing Action, but we're here to talk about some policy updates. So yeah. So at the state level, just to give a brief overview of where we are, the regular session ended in May of this year, and where they did pass a fiscal year 26 budget. And so in the state budget, we have a Home Illinois line item specifically that funds, sorry, let me just fix this, that funds various homelessness programs. And the goal of this line item is to reach a functional zero homelessness state in Illinois. This past year was a very difficult budget year. Revenue projections were much lower. We didn't expect to bring in as much as we needed to cover programs that we needed just across the board as a general budget. And then let alone go past that. So Home Illinois budget did see a $14 million increase. The biggest chunk of that was a cut to court-based rental assistance programs, and that was a $25 million cut. And it's a really important program that helps folks get diverted from homelessness who are facing evictions and going through that process. And so that is a really big cut. But that is what got the bulk of the 14 million decrease. On the other hand, there were some increases and actually some new funding streams. So there was 9 million additional funding for the Chicago's One Initiative program that creates a unified shelter system in Chicago. There was a new funding at $5 million for re-entry related homelessness services. There was 20 million allocated for the opioid settlement fund to help finance supportive housing, and then a 10 million increase in reauthorized capital budget funds for IHDA to help complete financing for low-income housing tax credit rental developments. Oops, move on. And then aside from the Home Illinois budget, there is the historical line items just in the general revenue funds, and that is for emergency transitional housing, homelessness prevention, homeless youth and supportive housing services, and those were all maintained at the same level as fiscal year 25. So then aside from the budget, there were some also the legislative pieces that we were working on. One of the big wins that we had this last legislative session was that Housing Action Illinois and also other housing advocacy organizations were able to work to eliminate the state matching fund requirements for shelters and supportive housing, which is great. So when they receive that grant money, they don't have to match it. They can just go ahead and use that money. And it clarifies that there will be no matching funds requirements for IDHS for the emergency transitional housing and supportive housing programs. We also continued to work on decriminalizing homelessness, which is HB 1529 that we are working on with Representative Olakol. I know that Felipe has worked a lot with this specific legislation. So Felipe, do you want to speak a little bit to where HB 1429 is right now?
Yeah, and just to kind of also go talking about the match funding too, I think we've spoke to a lot of folks in this room, in this space, and also in other tables with ETH providers that the 25% match didn't work. So we're glad that we had Shipper and all those who helped to lobby on this and get that requirement removed from the IDHS requirement. With HB 1429, we've been working with the Chicago Coalition to end homelessness on this bill. Again, kind of for a refresher, last year, June, the Supreme Court made a decision in Johnson versus Grant that it's not cruel and unusual punishment for somebody who's unsheltered to be arrested and fined. We're working again on the state legislation that will prevent municipalities from passing ordinances that will fine and criminalize people who are unsheltered. Right now in Illinois, we know of, I think now it's about 26 or more municipalities that have passed ordinances. I know in Springfield, advocates are also fighting this, so we're hoping to fight this also statewide. I know some of you guys in this room have also helped to champion this bill, so we thank you for your advocacy and thank you for lifting up your voices to your state and state representatives and senators on this bill as well. So we'll continue to fight for this in the next General Assembly session.
Awesome. Thank you. And I also forgot to mention, but if folks do have questions, I don't mind being, you can go ahead and interrupt or put it in the chat and we'll try to monitor that. And then we'll also ask at the end. So if you'd rather hold them, that is also totally okay. But I just want to mention that. Okay. So another bill that we've been working on is the Community Safety Through Stable Homes Act. We've been working on this for a couple years and have been focusing our efforts in the Senate. So just as a also recap, the goal of the Community Safety Through Stable Homes Act is intention is to prevent some of the worst consequences of the crime-free housing nuisance ordinances, which often result in really unfair penalties and evictions of tenants based on their alleged criminal or nuisance activity. And that can really lead to instability in homelessness and compromises public safety. So we're working with hard with Senator Villa and Representative Gon Gershowitz on this bill, and we're specifically trying to talk with municipalities throughout the state to try to have discussions with them and make sure that folks know what this we've amended the bill over the years, and so trying to have conversations about what this new bill is, especially with these municipalities that do already have CFNOs and to hope to have sort of more fruitful conversations with senators and get that work done now so that we can hopefully pass this in this next legislative session. But it's another one that we are working on with CCH as well. Okay, and then pass to Felipe if you want to run through the federal advocacy updates.
Okay, I was unmuted. I was on mute. So again, this might be a refresher for folks, but again, just wanted to start with some federal advocacy updates around appropriations versus reconciliation. We know, so appropriations usually is a process that happens yearly that helps to fund discretionary and also mandatory spending from the federal government. Usually the appropriations process begins in February and then ends the Congress is supposed to pass a bill by September 31st. Reconciliation process it's a special legislative process that requires only 51 votes. In the appropriations process, it requires 60 votes to pass, and it's an annual process. The reconciliation bill that recently passed in July, that was signed by the Trump administration, by President Trump, the weekend of July 4th, also includes cuts to a $1.3 billion cuts to Medicaid and also cuts to SNAP, and also imposes work requirements, especially for undocumented immigrants, for those benefits as well. So that reconciliation bill is different from the appropriations process that helps to fund HUD programs and other other programs like agriculture and education. Next slide. So with the FY26 appropriation spending bill, on July 24th, the Senate Committee on Appropriations released their THUD bill. This bill is actually much, much better than the House version that came up mid-July as well. The Senate version rejects a lot of the Trump administration proposals that proposal in May that proposed to slash odd by 44% and also to combine APWA and ESG together. So the House and the Senate rejected that proposal from the Trump administration. The Senate bill also funds odd at $7.3 billion for FY26, which is over $5.5 billion more than the federal level spending from the House bill, and also an increase from what our current FY25 Continuum resolution bill. In the FY26 spending budget, it provides great increases, more than the House bill for most of our programs, but it also limits funding for like the emergency housing vouchers that help to house about 1,800 Illinois voucher orders. Next slide. It also includes the Senate version of the bill includes, again, increases in the tenant-based rental assistance program, also in the homeless assistance grants, and also rejects some of the House proposal that zero out funding for the home investment program partnership, also the drastic cost of fair housing, and also zeroing out funding for housing counseling. So the Senate bill rejects those drastic proposals in the House bill. And funds and gives funding for the home Illinois for the home investment program for $1.25 billion, and then also for fair housing agencies, $86 million. So there are some very opportunities for advocacy still with this bill. It does, again, like I said, it doesn't include funding for the emergency housing voucher program. It Even though it does increase the housing assistance grants that help to fund ESG, and helps to fund the continuum of care, it doesn't provide the necessary funding to maintain all existing services. It doesn't fully fund the existing housing choice voucher program as well, um, even though it's way much better than the Senate version. I mean, than the House version. So there are different ways for with the federal advocacy. There This is taken by our partners from the Illinois Association of Community Action Agencies that gave this great graphic. The federal government has until September 31st. The fiscal year begins October 1st to pass a budget. Um, there are different ways that it can go. We can have the budget passed by September 30th, which is very unlikely since a budget hasn't been passed by September 30th, since 1997. There might be a government shutdown, continuing resolution, which seems likely, and then also there's this. There might be different ways where they might be impounded and rescissions of funding, um, that can happen as well. So we're hopeful that that something will be passed, be either a continuing resolution, or there might be maybe a short continuing resolution, or might be a short government shutdown before something is passed fully. But what we're hearing from our national partners is that it seems unlikely that there will be a full budget passed by September 30th first, but most likely a continuing resolution. Next slide. We have also been working with our national partners and others on the executive order executive order that was released again July 24th, ending crime and disorder on American streets, the executive order on homelessness. This executive order basically came is forcing it, for folks who don't know, it forces people who are unsheltered to be institutionalized, removes arm reduction, and removes arm reduction and home housing first approaches to that executive order as well. And then also, I know folks have been hearing about what's happening in DC about the encampments. What might happen there's a great blog from the National Alliance to End Homelessness on this that basically talks about what an executive order is. And we know that the Trump administration might use like the continuum of care. The continuum of care no full funding might be used to help to align with their own priorities in regards to this executive order. Also, there have been potential restrictions on what can be funded based on immigration status, especially with Head Start and CSBG and other programs as well. And this is something that Housing Actions continue to work on as well. I would say this is just more more federal policy concerns that might be happening as well with rulemaking. I know that our director Bob has been in conversations, especially the national REM about with OMP about what the rulemaking and what HUD might propose or might not propose to do. Um, but there is one good thing that did come from the Senate. The Senate released the bipartisan vote to action bill, and that includes actual good funding for reducing homelessness. It includes funding for first-time home buyers, incentives also for local solutions to homeless act as well. And that's something that passed in the Senate committee, and hopefully can see that hopefully that bipartisan bill can also be introduced in the House and also pass the House. So with all of these things going on, it's good to join with advocacy. This is the time to advocate. With the National Alliance to End Homelessness, they do have a virtual Heal Day that Housing Action, SHIPA, and then the Alliance to End Homelessness is help coordinating this national Heal Day. If folks are interested, I'll put that. Oh, thanks for putting that in. Folks can sign up to join and be part of that Heal Day, where you can talk to congressional members about this increases, this bill, and passing increases for homelessness and housing in those HUD programs. For folks who continue to stay connected, please watch out for our newsletter or join our newsletter. Plus, we also have action alerts federally and state that we send out as well, and our policy updates. We are also hosting our annual Housing Matters Conference, October 16th and 17th. And we can put more information about that in the chat as well. Next slide. So we are a membership organization, and majority of what we do comes from the majority of what we do comes from being a collective voice as members, and also helps to fund some of our advocacy and lobbying activities as well. So being part of a member, you do get discounts to the Housing Matters Conference. You're able to also host an America Vista member. And also we do offer trainings for housing professionals and nonprofits who want to take advantage of those trainings as well. So if you do want to be part of our membership and kind of help to be part of this collective voice, we also have a link on that I'll share in this chat as well. Final plug for the Housing Matters Conference for folks who are trying to, this is a great way to kind of network with other housing professionals as well, and it will be in Bloomington, October 16th and 17th. And I think that's all we have for the day. I don't know if anybody has any questions about any of the topics we discussed today.
Well, I, for one, can just say that Housing Action Illinois, without you, I can't even begin to imagine the amount of advocacy. I'm luckily on the distribution list, so I get a lot of things, and it's like daily. There's something that's going on that you're needing to address or watching, being careful for. So I, for one, and I think on behalf of our Continuum, I can say thank you so much for your work and your advocacy. There was a lot of information given here. Is there anyone that has any immediate questions? I know I may call one of you on the nuisance property thing because we've got something dealing with that right now in the city of Springfield, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about that. So I may call one of you a little bit later. I won't take up time right
Yeah.
now.
And
Absolutely, please do.
yeah,
Sorry.
we can put our contact information in the chat. I know Megan has been having one-on-ones with folks in this call, so we can put our contact information in the chat if folks have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any questions from anyone? All right. Well, thank you again so much. Appreciate your time and all of
Thank you
your
so much.
efforts.
Thank you.
All right, Josh, anything you want to add? Thank you so much for putting in all those links um, on the in the chat for everyone.
No, I think it was a great time to have you two here in the midst of everything that's happened at the federal level. So appreciate, all the content that you've provided here. And if folks felt like that was a lot, this recording will get posted to YouTube here pretty shortly, and you can go back and dig in. But also, as Val said, highly recommend connecting with Housing Action, getting on their email list, becoming a member. I know we've got a lot of folks from the Lived Experience Advisory Board and the Heartland House staff that are going to attend the conference, and would love for y'all to join us. So,
Okay. Thank you so much. All right, we have another presentation from Downstate State Referral Network. Karen, are you ready to present?
I sure am.
All right, there you are.
I think Nick's on this call as well. Correct, Nick? Are you there?
Nick,
Yeah, I was going to give a little light intro to Karen.
Okay, well,
I've
go
used-
right ahead.
Perfect. So I've been using the State Referral Network for over a year now. I've housed at least a dozen individuals through payee services at Helping Hands. So I highly recommend folks to tune in and listen closely if you're a service provider at any of the agencies in Springfield or Central Illinois in general, because there are empty units that are currently available for folks to move into. So please open your ears and tune in deeply, because this works.
Thanks for that, Nick. So thank you today for the opportunity to meet with you and talk to you a little bit about the statewide referral network. I do have a slide deck prepared, but I'm a complete novice at this, so I will probably screw this up. But before I try this, I just wanted to give you an idea of what the statewide referral network is for those of you who may not know. And it actually links vulnerable populations who are already connected to services to available affordable housing. Currently, there are about 3,200 SRN units in 66 Illinois counties. And in 2025, we expect that there will be nearly 600 new units available. Oh, great. Thank you for saving me that aggravation. I am not great at doing slide decks. So the first slide that shows you, we're just going to talk a little bit about how the statewide referral network can be just another tool in your toolbox for finding affordable housing for the individuals that you're already working with. Next slide. And I wanted to give you a little example. I'm assuming you primarily work in Springfield and Sangamon County. Is that it? Would I be right about that? Okay, so here's just a few examples of some properties that are currently available and have been available through the statewide referral network to give you an idea. Oh, Menard as well, great. And we do have properties in Menard as well. We do have listings currently available. The unit that you see on your screen right now is Pine Woods Apartments. And you can see these are just ordinarily looking apartments. You can see pictures of the inside included as well. They're lovely, lovely buildings. A lot of SRNs, units are mixed in with other like fair market rate units. So if you were looking at this building, you would not be able to identify which of the units within the building is an SRN unit. They all look the same, both on the outside and on the inside. Next slide. These are more examples. The villas at Vinegar Hill is the picture on your far left. In the middle is Hope Springs Apartments, which we just, I think, filled with an applicant. And on your far right is Madison Park Place, which recently listed several new units and are still accepting applicants. So if you know of anyone looking for a one-bedroom unit, these units are subsidized, meaning a portion of the rent can be paid through the or would be paid through the Springfield Housing Authority. Many of these units are undergoing and have undergone renovations recently. So these are just a few examples of what you would see right there in Springfield, which is obviously Sangamon County. Next slide. So when we talk about who should become an SRN partner, earlier I mentioned we work with individuals through the SRN who are already connected to a service partner. So you are probably already providing services to people who are looking for housing. Next slide. So we look at organizations that already have relationships with community members and provide supports. And it's, like I said earlier, it's just another pathway to affordable housing in your community, and it can open doors to affordable and sometimes subsidized housing for those in need. SRN units can only be accessed through registered users of the statewide referral network, and that's who we refer to as our service partners. And what's great is we offer 2 onboarding options to make this very easy for you if you are interested in joining. One is a self-paced class that takes probably under an hour to complete on your own computer. And the other is a virtual training that we do once monthly, I believe the 3rd Thursday of the month, followed by office hours for those that may need support just kind of getting started. And we also use that as an opportunity to share success stories, challenges, anything that you might experience as a new SRN service partner. Next slide. So these are some of the questions we get asked frequently, but I really want to encourage you to ask questions on this call. Maybe Nick can help facilitate that a little bit, and I would love for Nick to share a little bit of a story or two of what his own experience with the SRN has been. But many times people will ask, what are my responsibilities once I enroll someone on the SRN? And really, it's the SRN that asks referring agencies to commit to continue supporting the applicant, but the level and the duration of that support really needs to be determined by the applicant, because CSH believes that services are voluntary. So those services should be determined by the applicant and should be in accordance with your own capacity as a provider. Once you house somebody, your responsibilities are probably the same as if you're housing someone now outside of the SRN. It really, really wouldn't change. When you're helping someone through the housing process, that could entail, maybe taking someone on a tour or helping facilitate a tour for someone. Maybe helping them through the application process, maybe assisting them in gathering documents. If they require a reasonable accommodation due to a disability, you might be able to assist them in that way. Or if they're denied for a reason that you feel is not a valid reason, you may be able to assist them in an appeal of that denial. And then also we look at eviction prevention. Sometimes when individuals are placed on the SRN, we know that these are vulnerable populations. They may have a little difficulty with the transition process. So maybe working with the landlord to be sure that any issues that arise throughout the transitional period don't lead to an eviction. Whatever you can do to promote housing stability and a smooth transition. Those are the types of things we talk about once you've housed somebody, or before you house somebody, and then once you've housed somebody. And then the question we get asked also very frequently is, what do I do if I need help navigating the SRN process? Maybe you're having trouble completing an enrollment form. Maybe you have changed your job responsibilities within your organization and someone else needs to assume responsibility for people that you've enrolled on the SRN. So you would need to transfer case management from you to another registered service partner. All of those issues, we're here to help you with that. There are several people on our SRN team, Stephanie Seidman, Jessica Smith, Ranti Gosh, and myself. And you can, at any time, email srn@csh.org, and any one of us can respond to your question. Excuse me. Typically, when an individual is linked to a property through the SRN, you will work directly with what we call a waitlist administrator, and that's one of my roles. And so we work one-on-one with you, answering any questions you have when the individual that you're working with does get matched to a property. We can work with you all the way through that application process and beyond. So I just want to encourage everybody to consider joining as an SRN service partner, because we do have several properties, even right there in Sangamon County and Menard County, where we have properties, and we're not always able to fill those properties through the SRN, not because there's a lack of need for housing, but we need more service partners to enroll people on the SRN. So I just want to open this up to any questions you may have. And Nick, if you want to jump in and share anything that may be of use, given your perspective as a provider, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of luck getting folks that have been previously hard to house. I worked with a gentleman that was on house for 22 or 23 years in Springfield, and got him connected to payee services, and that's a component of this is ongoing case management to some extent, even if it's light touch. And got that person tied into case management with payee services, got him into an SRN, got him into Nehemiah. That was a year and a half ago. So that was previously 22 or 23 years of street homelessness. So SRN is changing lives and saving lives. So I want to speak loudly and clearly about that. I'm very proud of the work CSH and SRN are doing. So honestly, don't sleep on this. There's a lot of units all over the place. And while it does require some case management, don't sleep on it. Folks that are exiting out of PSH, or folks that maybe are very low need in PSH situations that can create more bandwidth for our programs, this is exactly a perfect kind of situation to help move them onto their own kind of stability, to where they just need maybe help here and there. Once every few months, they need a call for somebody for reassurance and that kind of thing. So definitely sign up for this if you're curious, and email Karen to learn more, or email me, call me. Y'all know me.
I'll drop my email in the chat for anyone that wants to follow up after the meeting. Ashley, I see you have a question.
Yeah, good morning and thanks for being here. So I am curious if you have any others, maybe potentially, that are already doing this and if it's successful. But we have our home visitors that are serving like our 0 to 3 populations, and sometimes they find themselves in a situation where potentially they're going to be unhoused. And so I didn't know if maybe already you have some around the state where they are becoming, and going into this role. And if they are, has that been successful?
Let me make sure I understand your question. Are you asking if people are joining as service partners?
Yes. Like
And
the home visiting providers, like the programs themselves, to refer those families and then following through afterwards once they are getting housed,
yeah,
or doing case management.
That is a great question. We work with a variety of service partners. We work with individuals who are providing support services to individuals with substance use disorders. We work with agencies for who are working with youth aging out of foster care, reentry programs. We work with the IDD community, the individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We work with we work with school districts, we work with nursing homes. I mean, anybody that chooses to be a service partner that is willing to provide those supports to the individuals that they're enrolling, anybody can become a service partner. We've had a pastor join, or several pastors join actually, folks working in food pantries who have regular contact with people coming in. So really, it could just be anybody that has regular contact and provides supports to the individuals. And I just want to emphasize, we don't expect you to do this through the life of the individual. As I said earlier, the level and duration of supports should be dependent on the wishes and the needs of the individual, and the capacity of your agency. So, you know, don't feel like, oh, I'm locked in forever if I do this. You know, we trust that you use your best professional judgment in determining what level of supports to provide and for how long.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I really appreciate you saying that, Karen. I'm a rapid rehousing case manager at Helping Hands, been here 3 years doing that. And I did take a client to see an SRN apartment. They loved it. But then we felt like rapid rehousing wasn't going to be an adequate amount of case management. Our reasoning or our thought process was just that rapid rehousing is not meant to be as permanent. We kind of max out around 2 years. But, and because of just the way our policy was written with rapid, we thought, oh, this excludes us from using SRN. But what I hear you saying is that maybe not, and it would kind of be up to our internal policies. So for instance, if our executive director could see that could reasonably say, well, already I guess there's already the paradigm of like, if I go 2 years with somebody and they still need a little light touch 2 months after, 3 months after, I can still touch base with them, anything
Right.
that's not financial, and I can still extend resources to them. So I could see how we could fit. Rapid could be appropriate. I just didn't know. Yeah, I wonder if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, supports can mean anything. It can even mean linkage to other service partners. Maybe once you exit, just the act of linking someone to other resources that could be available to them. You know, there are community supports beyond just social service providers. We want folks to move into these SRN units, and we want them to develop their own community, right? Just like you and I would. So just making sure folks are linked, but absolutely, rapid rehousing would be an excellent service partner. So thank you for
Okay,
asking that
that's great to
question.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions that I could help answer today?
Well, thank you, Karen. Very informative and kind of exciting too at the same time. So thank you so much for that information. Thank you, Nick, for bringing this forward and for all your work with that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Don't know who's doing the strategic plan review and youth homelessness planning process. If that is
I
you,
can
Josh,
jump in
or
there. Yep. Just a quick update to make space for agency updates here. But we've reached the halfway point in the strategic plan that we established, a couple of years ago. So we are bringing home base back over the next few months to do a check-in on that strategic plan. As part of that, it's not going to be a really wide process, but there will be some opportunities for input. So just wanted to kind of put that on your radar. The second thing that I wanted to mention is that we're also partnering with Home Base to work on a youth homelessness needs assessment and some initial strategy steps there around youth homelessness. So I just wanted to put a plug in that we have a youth homelessness task group. If you're interested, if you're working in the youth space, I'd love for you to put your email or send me an email, and we'll get you added to those meetings. That task group is really going to be the one that works closely with Home Base on that process. And so if you're interested, would love to have you connect on that. So wanted to put those two plugs out there.
all right, thank you. Okay, let's move along to the agency and community updates. Just hop in or raise your hand, one of the two.
I will jump in if no one else is
Okay,
jumping
thank
in.
you.
Karen Gedrose from United Way, and I just wanted to put in a plug for our last community listening session, which is this evening at 5 p.m. These sessions help us set our strategic priorities for funding allocations for 26 to 29. So it's really important that we get voices from every community agency and every concerned resident of Sangamon County and Menard County, so that we have the most accurate strategic priorities that meet the critical needs of the community. Thank you. And it's 5 p.m. at United Way office on Wabash Avenue. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
I've got just information, I guess, from Memorial Behavioral Health. Just want to make sure everybody knows or has heard, we virtually have no wait list for therapy or case management. So if you have any clients that are in need of services, they can do a walk-in to our 8th Street office in Springfield, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4. They'll get in to see one of our intake specialists. We are taking appointments for intakes, but those are scheduled out a few weeks. But if they're available, they can just walk in and they'll be seen as quickly as we can get people in. So.
Thanks, Lauren. I bet it's been a while since you said that, right?
A very long time, actually.
Thank you so much. Very much so.
Yeah. What could you share more, so that intake process folks could you share a little bit more about that? So if organizations here are working with folks, they need to get them to you, will people come to them? What are kind of the pathways for trying to get people plugged in with those services?
Yeah, so an intake can be in person, like I said, a walk-in. You don't have to have an appointment. We actually fill out the paperwork with the client now. So they'll get their insurance information and all of that, but then we'll kind of do the rest in the session with our intake specialists. If the person would rather do like a over the phone intake, that would need to be scheduled, but they can call our office and schedule a telehealth or an over the phone appointment for an intake, and we'll get those scheduled. They're about 30 to 45, sometimes an hour, depending on what all is going on for the individual. So we have individual therapy, adult therapy, child therapy, as well as adult case management. We have a couple different programs in our case management repertoire. We have a PATH program, which does focus on individuals that are unhoused. They do have to have a mental health diagnosis in order to be qualified for the program. And then we have kind of just our kind of regular, I guess, the case management for individuals as well. And then we do have child case management. It's called youth crisis stabilization. So it technically is following a crisis event that we have available to kiddos up to 20 with Medicaid or managed Medicaid.
Yeah. Thank you. Ramona?
Yes, I just had a quick question. I have 2 youth who've been on the waiting list at Memorial since the first week of June, and I haven't heard from anyone. So
do you know what the program, was it for therapy or was it something else?
Yes.
Do you want I can put my email in the chat and I can try and figure that out for you.
That would be wonderful.
Thank you, Ramona. Thank you, Lauren. Mike Murphy.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just want to remind, if anybody's trying to get back into the job market, we will have a job fair next Wednesday at the Crown Plaza from 4 to 6. I think we're approaching 50 different employers who's going to be there. So from 4 to 6 next Wednesday at the Crown Plaza for anyone trying to get back in the job.
Mike, do you have a youth component to that this year or not?
We do that in the spring.
Just in the spring. Okay.
Yeah, we do that in the spring.
The flyer I had said Tuesday. Did it get moved to Wednesday, the 27th?
Well, what did I say? Let me look at my calendar here.
Is it
Tuesday the 26th.
Okay.
That's what I said, right?
Yeah. This time, yes.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mike.
Tuesday the 26th. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for catching.
Awesome. I got a bunch
Okay.
of people coming for that.
Well, I look forward to that.
All right, Austin.
Good morning, everyone. I'm with the Sangamon County ROSC. Just wanted to share that we will be partnering up with Gateway Foundation for a big Recovery Month event on September 6th. Some of y'all in this meeting have received a few emails from me about it, but it will be at Southern View Park on September 6th, which is a Saturday from 11 to 2. We're going to have Memorial Behavioral Health there, SIU, Phoenix Center, Fifth Street Renaissance, all kinds of organizations out there. If anyone is interested in having a resource table out there to just, share your services and your greatness with the county at large, feel free to email me. I'll put my email in the chat and then I can send you the link to sign up for it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Ashley?
Yes, good morning again. So quickly here, I'm just gonna put in the chat our action plan progress report. So as you know, our council members have been diligently working on some action plans regarding not just mental and behavioral health, that one's not live yet, but early education. And so this just shows you the wins that took place around the 3 recommendations that they developed. So wanted to share that out with you guys there. And then also, as I shared, we are still working on mental behavioral health recommendations. And we just got done co-creating a survey that's going to be going live. And that happened with actually Austin and Whitney with Sangamon County Ross. And so super excited to be able to share that out in community here soon. It's going to be around support groups for Sangamon County and Menard. So understanding what is in our community, but also what are some of the gaps. So excited to be able to share that soon with you all. And then also we are going to be going live too with some toolkits around the trainings and education sessions and curricula that we do have for our community. And again, that is going to be hopefully shared in conjunction with Sangamon County Ross too. And so, yeah, we have over 40 different organizations that are supporting our area. So super excited to see all this coming together from our council members. And if you have questions or want to continue to help us push all that, and if you have a training or education session and curricula and you want to join in on that, that's not going live till in about 2 weeks. You still have time to get in on that. So I think that's all I have, unless anyone has questions.
All right, thanks, Ashley. Thank you for including the action plan in the link. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right, Eileen.
Good morning, everyone. Eileen McNamee with Supportive Housing Providers Association. And we just have a couple of updates. One is you will probably notice that our website is under construction. It is still up and running, but we are putting together a brand new website that'll make it easier, hopefully, for everyone. And we will be reaching out to get information from everyone to make sure that what we have in our website is up to date. SHPA's Fall Summit is going to be November 4th through 5th this year. It's going to be on a Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's a little bit different than in past years. So just that everybody has that update, we will be sending out a notice regarding that and within 2 weeks. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we are accepting resumes for the position of the statewide SOAR lead for SHPA. So if you know anyone who would like to apply for the state SOAR lead through SHPA, please send them to, I will put my email in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eileen. Angela.
Hi, I just wanted to let everyone know we had received a grant for a new program. It's called the Domestic Violence Co-Located Project. And it is actually in conjunction with the Department of Child and Family Services. And we are working with Investigation, Intact, and everyone else in order to keep the kids in the families that should be, and help, I guess, bridge a link between the caseworkers and I guess the services out in the community, so that we're providing them the resources, because we had a lot of people who were working, but I guess in DCFS's eyes, they weren't being successful. So like going from our shelter to another long-term, housing program, to them wasn't always success. So we're trying to show them that, different clients work in different ways and at different speeds. And so one of the things that we found that was really useful, there was 4 programs throughout the state, and they just added us and one other. So there's now 6. And throughout the last 4 years that they had that, only one program really got up and going. And our program, since we've initiated it, is doing the same numbers, if not better, than the one that's been really successful. And one of the ways that we've done that is we are working a lot with clients on our end that we're seeing that have DCFS cases, and then we are bridging the gap to DCFS to show like how our caseworkers can really help them. And that's been something that's been different, because the rest of the programs kind of have been waiting for DCFS to turn over cases to those providers. So I just wanted to let everyone know, if you do have a client, and as long as they have domestic violence in their past or their current, I do have someone who could come and sit down and talk to them, and hopefully make that situation better by being able to bridge that. Like I said, she's made so much progress, and I know a lot of the people that she's worked with, she's taken a lot of the anxiety out of all of that, because they're just running around fearful all the time that their kids are going to be taken away. And so it's been awesome for all of our clients. So I just kind of wanted to like extend that to any of you guys. If you have someone, I mean, she'd definitely be more than willing to meet with them and try to help them establish some sort of stability, and I guess lessen their anxiety and help walk them through that process.
Thank you, Angela, and congratulations. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that information.
Thank you.
Quick question, Angela, for folks who say does the person have to be fleeing domestic violence in order for your staff to be able to work with them, or is that invitation more widely open to partners?
Well, they have to be a survivor of domestic violence. I mean, we have to link them somehow. So they have to have so like, do they have to be fleeing currently? No, but what I always tell everybody, and what I try to explain to funders and stuff like that some people have an incident happen and they flee immediately, and they're feeling all the feels. Some people have such a traumatic incident that they are frozen in time, and they don't flee right away. They don't feel the emotions. They don't even know how to deal with it. And maybe 6 months later, they wake up one day and they realize exactly what has happened. And at that point in time, that's when they need services. So since I've been in my position, I think before I got in the position, it's like it had to have happened immediately or within 1 week. And I'm like, some people can't even like admit to themselves what has transpired. How can we force them to say, like, if you don't get services this week, I'm sorry, your window of opportunity is closed. So as long as they have domestic violence in their background, and that's something they're dealing with, I mean, like I said, you could be dealing with that 5 years down the road. It's something that, traumatizes you and you carry with you. So I just got to be able to relate it back.
Yeah.
I have a question from the kids side of things, with the funding being from DCFS.
The funding is not from the funding is not from DCFS.
Oh, sorry.
We're just working with DCFS.
Okay.
And
I was wondering if the referrals.
Oh, go ahead.
would it be appropriate to refer, for instance, someone who is with child, someone who's, hasn't given birth yet, but is a DV victim and carrying the child?
Yeah, I definitely think that that may be someone, I mean, definitely if left in that situation or something, I mean, it could be really a bad situation, but the funding is not coming from DCFS. The funding is coming from another source. DCFS is fully aware that due to confidentiality, like our clients have to sign a release with us that they want information that they're sharing with us disclosed with them. They understand that may not always happen. They don't like that, but they understand that it may not always happen and that we're within that parameter, that we can only share what the clients want shared. And they can be very, very specific. Like, I don't mind you sharing my name, but I don't want anything about this being shared. So.
Okay,
Angela,
thank you.
could you possibly send that information out to like your email
Yeah.
listserv? Because I know that we at Mercy have had some very specific DV cases that DCFS was involved in. I don't know that we have anything active right at this moment, but definitely a resource that we could use in the future.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have Jocelyn send out. Actually, I can send it to Josh if he can, and he can forward it to the entire group. But I can have her send out. She has a flyer.
Perfect.
She
Thank
has
you.
she has a specific phone number and stuff like that, and people can reach out to her about anything. Like I said, it's been so great. I mean, like I said, DCFS. It's been a process and we've met several times in person, and we had people that were very much on board. We had people that were kind of in the middle, and we had people that were like, we'll never use you. And since she's kind of like proven her worth and like, she's kind of talked to some of the caseworkers and the investigators, and she's like, here's all the information on these 12 clients. And they're like, I've been trying to get a hold of them like mad. Like, how did you do that? And as soon as she's proving her worth and they're not spinning their wheels trying to reach out to clients, now they're like, we're getting all sorts of referrals. But it's been a process. So like I said, our thing is we want to help the clients. So if we need to reach them on our end and then connect them, I mean, we're going to help them however, and we're making sure that they know that some things could hinder them. So you might want to keep that confidential, and whatever they choose to share though is on their own accord.
Great. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. All right, Yolanda.
Good morning, everyone. I'm gonna be short and quick. The Heartland House Live Experience Advisory Board, we are conducting a focus group, which will be Saturday, September the 6th, in the Lincoln Library Bicentennial Room, which is on the 3rd floor from 11 to 12. It's a safe space for all. So if any of the guys that you guys are connected with and they have are experiencing homelessness or have a past. Like I said, it's a focus group where everybody voices matter. So please let them know that we are having a focus group September the 6th from 11 to 12 in the Lincoln Land Bicentennial Room on the 3rd floor.
Okay. Thank you, Yolanda. We're after 10 o'clock right at the moment. I just know if you would read your email, I couldn't believe how long the email was for the notice of this meeting, because there are tons and tons of announcements there. So that is a huge resource for you. So if you have any questions about anything, of course, you can also always reach out to the Heartland House staff, but there are a lot of announcements in that particular email. So make sure you peruse those. Are there any public comments? All right, our next meeting will be October the 23rd at 9 a.m. I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day and week, and we'll look forward to seeing you on October the 23rd. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion. This is Angela.
Okay, Angela, thank you. All right, we will see you all on October 23rd. Thank you so much.